Hello, and welcome to Gemini season of Expansive Astrology Academy. Celebrate! Yay! I'm Melissa O'Malley, and I am so excited that you're here joining us for Gemini season. Let's hop right into it. This week is going to be an overview of what we're looking for, what we're working with in Gemini, some of the themes, right? And then I'll share with you what the rest of the season is going to look like, and we'll go from there. I'm so excited. So I'm just going to hop right into it. Gemini, the phrase for Gemini is I think. I think. And Gemini rules the third house of communication. So we're doing a lot of work around communication and honoring what we know, which Taurus season is ruled by the Hierophant, which is the wise teacher of the tarot. So we've already been in some exploration and some, invitations and some work with our inner knowing and trusting our inner teacher. And then in Gemini, we are really invited to honor that and express it appropriately. So represented by the twins, Gemini is the first air sign of the season. It is a mutable air sign. And for me and for many people, that transition from the fixed earth sign of Taurus into the mutable air sign is a mighty one. It's a mighty transition. It is, for me, it's obvious. I can feel it every single time. So like mutable air energy. The element of air is concerned with thoughts, intellect, communication, kind of what we're talking about here, right? Gemini is one of 3 air signs. And a mutable air sign is quite different from that fixed earth sign of Taurus. Like a mutable air sign, Gemini is the only mutable air sign, dreads routine. It prefers change and freedom. It is lively and energetic and versatile and intellectual. It lives in the mind. It's adaptable and clever. It can be defensive. It is so multifaceted. It's interested and brilliant at self-expression. It's curious, charming, enthusiastic, friendly, fun. Charming stands out to me every time. Every time I meet a Gemini, I think there is a person whose chart is very heavily influenced in Gemini, there is a charm about them, which can be lovely. And we'll get into this more, but I think it can also intimidate some people. Sorry, I'm just musing now. So that's quite a difference, where Taurus is about like establishing routine and stability, and it's a little stubborn. Gemini is a little more free and like flying and flitting. And I don't say flitting like in a negative tone. There are stereotypes about every sign, and I think Gemini is subject to being stereotyped as flaky or two-faced or disingenuous. I'm always struggling with words. Anyway, that's an example of the ways that this energy can be both empowered and disempowered, right? You can be a very charming, friendly, outgoing person, and if it can be disempowered, if those energies are coming from a disempowered place, it rubs people the wrong way. Gemini serves as a mirror. We're going to get more into this. And people see what they need to see. You see in others what you need to see in them. And I think Gemini can be a really great example of that, and especially the way we use stereotypes against Gemini, calling Gemini two-faced or flaky or kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde type vibe is commonly associated to this energy. And I think people see in Gemini serves as such a mirror that people see in Gemini what they need to see. So if people note Gemini's charm and are very impacted by Gemini's charm and take it as fake or disingenuine, it's a clue that that person needs to evaluate where they are not authentic or genuine. What you see in others is what you need to see. We'll get more into that later. Gemini is very interested in others. Again, they're the mirror, and they're not them, but Gemini, the energy itself, is a mirror. It's brilliant at reflecting, and Gemini is a great connector because Gemini is so intellectual and it knows so many things, and it's so interested in adapting and change and learning all sorts of things. Gemini has a great ability to connect concepts and people and theories and ideas. So othering, Gemini is very interested in others, and othering is a word that's going to come up frequently. Othering, I think, is is a way to describe the mirror effect of Gemini, where Gemini sees, and we all see ourselves in others. And especially Gemini sees itself in others. It seeks to see itself in others. It wants to know others and be accepted by others. And it's interested in knowing and understanding everything because it wants to be able to relate and see itself in others. So this is really where the medicine of the lovers comes in, and I guess what I'm calling the mirror effect, where if you are around, okay, here's why I keep using that charming example. I have a friend who's very heavily influenced by Gemini, and they, it really rubs them the wrong way if they perceive somebody as too charming or fake, or somebody who gives too many compliments or something like that. And I think that's a really brilliant example of my friend seeing themselves reflected in another person in a way that they don't like, and so they dislike the other person. So this keyword of othering, where are you? The keyword othering applies in many ways, but where are you? Where are you othering yourself? Where are you displacing or transferring what is within you into others? And that also applies in like terms of trusting yourself. When I was very new with the tarot, I was also very new in my current partnership. Well, kind of. When I was sort of really getting into the tarot. Before I knew like Lindsay Mack's Soul Center Tarot, I would pull the Lover's card and think that it meant that things were going to go really well in my relationship. It's funny. It's ironic because my belief that that's what the Lover's card meant helped me in that moment take a breath of air and be like, oh, okay, everything's going to be fine in this relationship. I don't need to hold on to this tension or this worry or this fear or whatever was going on, right? Or this insecurity, whatever. I just pulled the Lover's card, and that's a good omen for my relationship. I can kind of let go. And so I would show up in the relationship with more confidence and trust and self-assuredness, self-expression, because this card told me that good things were going to happen in the relationship. What this card actually calls us to see and reflect on is what was I seeking from this card? What was I seeking from my partner when pulling this card? What was I hoping for? What was I missing? What was causing that fear, worry, and anxiety, self-doubt, mistrust, whatever it was? What was causing that in the first place? And why was I looking to him to tend to that in my soul for me? I had that mending kit within me already. I hope that makes sense. The Lovers calls us to stop othering, stop placing responsibility on anyone else, whether that's this is not about a romantic partnership. This is not about Adam and Eve. This is not about a marriage. And we'll get more into all that later. Joanna Woolfolk says, if the world's a stage, Gemini must be the actor on that stage. Unlike Leo, who wants to be the star, Gemini wants to play all the parts and be the director, the producer, and the stagehand. I think that is apt. So issues of control continue here. Control was a big keyword or theme in Taurus season, and that continues. We continue to get invitations to look at our relationship with control during Gemini season. We get to keep exploring our relationship with our inner power versus a need for control. And we get to really keep honoring our own power. And that's where the Magician comes in. The Magician is ruled by Mercury, which rules Gemini. It's the planet of communication, and it's ruled by the Magician. So we'll get more into that later. And the Magician really calls us to honor, to honor and use our power, because we're connected to the divine. It ain't no small thing. Duality. Moving on. Duality is another big keyword in Gemini season. Gemini wants to know and be and have it all. It is able to see very broadly. It's able to see it all. Again, that's why it's referred to as the great connector. It can see so many things, and it is so interested in sharing those things and connecting those things and being involved in all of those things. It is able to see the whole spectrum of things, which is a beautiful gift, where many people see in black and white. And I'm not saying that Geminis aren't prone to seeing in black and white. We are all prone to seeing in black and white. I think our brain chemistry thrives on black and white. Our brain chemistry and our ego or fear really, really likes to be able to box things either on this side or this side, right? We're either male or female, just for one example. Gemini has the ability to see all, and we have to be wary, be aware of extremes and hanging out on either end of a spectrum. More on that later. This ability to see the whole spectrum, I think, is in part why the stereotype of Gemini being like a jack of all trades and a master of none. I mean, that's where that stereotype really comes in. Gemini can have difficulty concentrating and getting really deep with or not with anything. But Gemini kind of just wants to know things, and once it's satisfied that curiosity, it's content to just move on from it. So Gemini's charming nature can be like so lovely and such a gift. I think Gemini does have a really, really great way of making you feel accepted and important, and because Gemini can see it all, and it wants to acknowledge and know it all, whatever it all is, all of the people, all of the details, all of the whatever. It's a charming sign, and that can be disempowered or problematic when a person avoids problems that might dampen the spirits of a situation. It can be a problem when a person is frequently putting on, faking it, putting on a mask for the sake of being charming. It might seem really fake or dismissive, which are more stereotypes that Gemini is commonly associated with being, fake or dismissive are good words for it. This is also, this charming nature also speaks to the duality of Gemini. So because Gemini can see and be it all at any one time, and because Gemini feels most jazzed and empowered and like in alignment when it is being that connector and being that charming presence, it can put on that charming presence because it knows that that's how it shines, and still be experiencing so much of the other side of that. So much, let's just say a person is really putting on, a charming, outgoing, dinner party hostess type vibes. And you're experiencing, something very not attuned to that. Maybe you're fucking sad that day, or angry at something, or frustrated, or whatever. Because Gemini can experience it all and have both of those experiences at the same time, which all of us can have all types of experiences at one time. Gemini can seem fake, or Gemini can really hide away from people, or other itself from people. Do you hide? Where are you inauthentic? Like, you can be a hostess at a party and have a good time, and also express that it's kind of been a hard day and you're frustrated about the caterer or whatever, right? You don't have to hide any aspect of you. And I think Gemini brings a beautiful invitation for us to honor all that is going on within us at the same time. I had a professor once in undergrad. This is the only time I've ever heard this, so I don't know where it came from. I was very young. This was a long time ago. I don't know where this came from. I don't know how valid it is. I think it's pretty old school psychology, because this was from a psychology course. She said that you can only experience one emotion at a time. And she said that to make her very radical point. What she said was, when she's angry with her children, she is not capable, she does not love them at the same time. That's literally what she said. I don't agree with that. I don't know. If that's your experience, I'd love to talk about that and hear from you. For me, and what I read from Gemini is that we can be so many fucking things at one time. Maybe they flip really, really quickly. And I don't know about that. I can be very mad at somebody and still love them incredibly deeply at the exact same time. So, I don't know. I don't think that was wrong. Like, I'm not placing any sort of like moral judgment on her for that take at all. Like, she was a wonderful, lovely person, and yeah, I'm not so sure about that. Anyway, Gemini invites us to honor all of the shit that's going on within us, as complicated and messy as that might be. And because Gemini rules the third house of communication, and is influenced very much by Mercury and the Magician, Gemini is talkative and persuasive and wants to communicate and have discussions with people. It's inquisitive. It can be defensive. And because of that, we have a responsibility. Gemini invites us to be radically responsible with our words. The Magician invites us to honor what needs to be said, what needs to come out of us, to honor that it comes from something divine and sacred. It wasn't just fucking put inside, like my desire to paint my nails, even something as seemingly trivial as that. My desire to paint my nails came from somewhere. And why shouldn't I honor that? As long as I'm not, like impulsive about it and like painting my nails in the middle of like some public, I don't know, the DMV, right? Be reasonable and honor. The Magician invites us to honor everything that goes on within us. And it invites us to express those things, whether verbally or like, physically, tactilely, creatively, through painting our nails can be an expression, right? We're invited to share ourselves, express ourselves. Gemini can be defensive, and there's a big difference between defensiveness and defending yourself. We're going to get into that in the communication module. And to start for this week, I invite you to explore, how do you defend yourself? Taurus had some similar invitations. And while we're really exploring, honoring what's happening inside of me and how do I get that out, I think it's imperative to make sure that we're tending to how we defend ourselves, because we are worthy of defending our stances and defending, like, hey, this is where I'm sitting. This is my perception of this situation. And I would like to defend that. It's important to defend that. That's one thing. And being defensive is another thing. It's usually not quite as effective, and it's usually not quite as cute. So we're going to talk about that. Gemini takes firm opinions, and it's mutable. It's open to change, which can be why the stereotype of like flakiness is associated with Gemini. And it's also why it's so important that we honor this invitation to refine our communication skills and refine our ability to hold an opinion and then like have a discussion and communicate our way through changing that opinion without being like, without appearing flaky. And Yeah, changing our opinion is not a bad thing, right? I think people appear flaky when they don't share authentically what their process was to get to that point. Gemini is a mutable air sign and it resents, like any of us, I think, most of us in some ways, we resent being subject to the whims of other people. Um, we like to know, we can see, oh, okay, wait. We like to know what to expect. Our brain, our ego, our inner child needs to feel safe and secure. We like to know what to expect from others. And because Gemini has this ability to see and know so many and experience so many things all at once, um, there can be a struggle to maintain independence, which causes some stubbornness or defensiveness sometimes. And I think that's so important to acknowledge, like, because you can show up in a very disempowered way when you're in that kind of like gripping for independence. You are independent and you're allowed to experience um, change and adaptability, and you're, I'll leave that there. Yeah, okay. Let me take a sip of water. We get to really explore in Gemini season the difference between um, either or and that and this and. You get, we, Gemini, again, that duality aspect, that bigger picture, whole spectrum aspect allows us to really explore, where are you either oring yourself? Where have you placed rules upon either, you know, there's so many examples. And yet I can't think of a good one to say right now. They're everywhere. We do this to ourselves all the time. Either I, um, we make rules for ourselves. Okay, I'm just gonna give some examples. Either I can fit into, you know, the skinny small dress, or we make rules about, like, I have to feel shame, or I can't show too much skin. Either I'm this size or I have to dress in muumuus. Oh, I think that was an old one for me. When I was like much bigger, I wouldn't allow myself to dress cute or fun or show much of my body, because I either I'm skinny or I get to dress cute. Wait, either I'm like skinny or I have to dress frumpy. That was a big one for me. There are so many ways we do this, and I'm struggling for examples. Where do you either or yourself? Either, this isn't an active thought for most of us, I don't think, but we kind of live as though either this, that, or the other will happen, or I'll be unhappy. I don't need specific examples, right? Where do you either or yourself? Where do you cut yourself off? Gemini invites us to say, like, that and. Man, I should have really specific examples. I'm sorry that I don't. I'm struggling. Sorry. So it's not either my partner shows up in this way and that way for me, or I'm going to be miserable all day. It can be both my partner is not showing up the way I want to, and I get to be happy today. I don't have to have a shitty day because of that. This invitation to experience it all. The next example that came to my mind which again, like, I don't think these are active thoughts for us. We don't think either the traffic is going to be perfect for me and I'll get to work on time, or I'm going to have a shitty day. I don't think that's an active thought for us. And that's like how we live our lives. The traffic can both be shitty, and you can wake up late and show up to work like really disgruntled and like not feeling in tip top shape, and you can still have a good day. I'll leave that there. Explore that. And we'll explore that a lot more, probably in the, I'm not sure. Either, well, yeah, probably the self-expression module. So, kind of hopping back to lover's energy. I have another quote from Joanna Woolfolk on Gemini. She says, instead of looking at people's deeper qualities, Gemini tends to judge them by their reaction to you. So are you coming off well, or are you mesmerizing them? That speaks to the authenticity that Gemini, I'll say it, struggles to bring sometimes. Gemini others itself and really seeks to see its reflection in others, right? So sometimes, this is common of many of us, sometimes we like people because of their reaction to us, or what we see reflected of us in them, more than we like them. I remember in 7th grade, one of my best friends was dumped by her boyfriend. Sad. 7th grade boyfriend, right? So heart-wrenching and dramatic at that age, because we don't know how to handle this stuff. We've never experienced this stuff as we're growing up, right? It's heart-wrenching at any age to be dumped, right? But man, this was a big one, and none of us had been dumped before. And I was talking to her, name was Brittany. I was talking to her, and I don't remember exactly where it came, but I asked her, I was like, do you like him? Do you even really like Bryce, or do you just like being in a relationship? Does it just feel good to be in a relationship? Oof, what a big question, right? I say this to, my single friends all the time, or especially like or clients who are actively dating and struggling, and they'll come in. This happens all the time. I'll have a session with a client, and they'll be talking about this guy that they've been trying to make it work with, and thing after thing after thing they'll mention about whoever they're pursuing, and it'll just sound bad. Like there will be nothing in common. The person ghosted them. They keep changing plans. I don't know how to make this work. They're not texting me back, blah, blah, blah. And I always pause and pump the brakes and invite people to explore. Do you like this person? What do you like about this person? Or because often we get stuck in this trap of trying to get other people to like us and feeling desperate to be accepted and liked and approved of by other people. And sometimes we neglect to even consider, like, oh, I'm not even really into this guy, for example. I think we're so funny in that way. And Gemini is at big risk of getting stuck in that trap of trying so desperately to fit in, and put on and just be charming and be accepted and fun. whatever. And sometimes Gemini neglects to even really consider, like, is this good for me? Is what I'm pursuing and like sitting in and hoping for right now, is that even what I want? Do I really actually value this person for who they are and what they bring to my life? Or do I just need to feel good about myself? Ooh, hard questions. Hard questions. You can ask yourself that of anything, not just like relationships with people, but like any sort of thing that you're placing a lot of value on. Our world reflects our internal landscape. So if in your world you are putting so much weight on a specific job or some life milestone, getting married or having babies or buying a house or whatever it is, it's important to really explore why. Like, why am I so connected to that? Why does it feel so imperative that I be there or see myself in that thing, whatever it is? Is it is it because it's something that is actually like soul based and soul led and like honoring me and my path and nourishing my world? Or am I just having trouble experiencing like an internal intrinsic sense of wholeness? Gemini being represented by the twins, Gemini is also always seeking its other half. It's always seeking its twin. It's always seeking its reflection. And that can be really empowered and really beautiful and connecting and expansive and powerful, or it can be absolutely crippling and numbing, and it can have us really blocked off from ourselves and what we know of ourselves and what is within us, because there is so much within you. Everything you're seeking that you think is outside of you, that you think you need outside of you, exists within you. So when are you inauthentic? When are you othering yourself or others? When are you desperately seeking your other half somewhere? You are whole. You are whole. Do you reveal yourself openly? Do you share yourself openly with your world? And that doesn't have to mean being like an open book and like reading your diary to the internet, but it means being aware of when you're putting on and like working to show up authentically as a hella complex being. You have it all. You have it all within you. Finally, Mercury also rules the nervous system. So we get a big invite into how we honor our bodies and tend to our nervous systems. So this is definitely a continuation from Taurus season, where we were working on issues related to trauma and control and safety and security. Now we get to like, that was very foundational. Now we get to really make it practical and honor what our bodies and what our nervous systems need, like at all times. It's a beautiful, beautiful invitation. Mercury also rules the lungs and the hands. So this invites even more beautiful invitations to ensure that our head and our heart and our hands are aligned, are in alignment. It's a beautiful invitation, like with the Magician and with all this Mercury energy, to honor that to honor all that we are, and that like all of the beauty that we put into the world comes through our body. There is a process. Lindsay Mack talks a lot about this, and she talks about it brilliantly. So we get to really explore that process for ourselves and how we tend to and honor our process and our bodies. And when we get fucking burnt out and tired, and when we are feeling like I just can't be the hostess today, as much as I want to be the charming connector hostess lady, maybe today, whatever, I need to honor my nervous system and take a break. This is a continuation of the invitation to honor our power. We're not only honoring our power, but we're honoring like where our impulses come from, where our thoughts and our desires and our everything, where it comes from. And in my opinion, it comes from like the divine and moves through our body to become like words or things or actions, behaviors in our world here. Our soul is connected to something bigger than ourselves, and that's where everything moves through our body and comes out into our world here, this human experience. That is to be honored. I use this example a lot because I think it still blows my mind. There's an acupuncture treatment called aggressive energy an aggressive energy protocol, aggressive energy treatment, where it's a series of points down the back, and as you lay there with the needles in, big red circles around the needles will get smaller and smaller, and that's how the acupuncturist knows to pull the needles out. It's because the circles kind of dissipate, and acupuncturists recommend that you get an aggressive energy treatment and you tend to the energy of your body. They actually my acupuncturist used the word imperative. It is imperative to get a treatment like that anytime something jars you as much as being cut off in traffic. That's crazy because we get jarred and shaken up all the time in this culture. Little arguments, little disruptions, little inconveniences, and large monumental, really terrible disruptions, inconveniences, etc. They happen to us all the time. And how often do they go untended to? All the time. So we get a beautiful invitation to really tend to ourselves and honor ourselves. So week 2 of Gemini season, we're going to really tune into tending the nervous system. And then in week 3, we're exploring mirrors, our reflection, othering, and self-expression, authenticity. And then in week 4, we're working with the Magician and the Lovers. And for this week, your task is simply to skim the surface. I've asked a lot of questions during this video, and you have a lot of questions in the PDF. So it's time to really, your task for this week is just to explore and get curious and observe how this is starting to show up for you. Observing, being aware of how Gemini can be empowered and disempowered. How do you want to embrace everything that I've been talking about? How do you want this to show up in your world? Ask questions, just get curious, just explore, and share what comes up for you. I want to hear from you. So we begin to really explore, we get to really start to like bring all of this in and explore our relationships with and beliefs about these things with the new moon on Friday. And we'll work on like planting the seeds of what we want to have, you know, in terms of these themes for the next 6 months. And when, because in 6 months from now, we'll have the full moon in Gemini during Sagittarius season. So I think that does it. As always, let me know how you're doing. Let me know how I can support you. Let me know how this is showing up for you. I'd love to hear from all of y'all. So thank you so much for being here. I hope this served. Take what you need and leave the rest. And let me know your experience. Let me know how this shows up for you and what this is like for you. You know, I know a lot and I've worked with a lot of people, and I'm only one woman sharing like my interpretation of these themes and these energies and what this season can bring. So your contributions and your experience of all of this is just as valuable as mine is. I hope that like my knowledge, my expertise in, you know, people, um, I hope that what I am bringing you is inspiring and able to really spark a deeper knowing and a deeper relationship with yourself and with the universe. And again, I'm just one woman who's experiencing these energies and who's interpreting, you know, my expertise that I've gotten from school and from research and from study and from, you know, field experience. I'm one woman sharing my interpretations with you. It's so important that I get to hear how this is for you. So do not be shy. Let me know. I'm here for it. Thank you so much for being here. Good luck. I'll see you at our first group coaching call. Take care.